Hello everyone, Ella Woodbridge here, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Australia. I would like to welcome you back to card 3 of my Merry and Bright class. Today we are doing something a little bit different. We are using the Merry and Bright products to make a birthday card because, as I may have said before, our Merry and Bright Designer Series paper is really bright and fun and does make a really nice birthday card, any other occasion card, using some of the fun patterns. So I thought I would show you one today using some minimal amount of stamping, and I have thrown in the happy birthday die from the Wanted to Say set, and we are also going to be using this die right here, which I shall take out right now, from the Merry and Bright, and you get these really fun streamers. And I have used the Dazzle More Designer Series paper for this, or specialty paper. So it's like it's almost like a glow mesh bag. But I'm going to start the card with very minimal amount of stamping that we will be doing. And once again, we'll be using the streamer or the string, and I'm going to be stamping that directly onto our card base. So I will be using, if I can find my bone folder, we will be using our Versamark ink, and I'll show you this card close up because you can't, the stamping isn't like in your face kind of stamping, but it is there, so you can just see it along the edges that you just have that hint of stamping there. And on this one I've got a lot of the curly cues, and I'll just show you quickly how I do that. So just using our Versamark ink, and if you wanted that stamping to be a bit more prominent, you could also use crushed curry ink, because that is the color of card base that we're using. So I'm going to be doing stamping the whole way down. So alternating. Now this ink will darken as we go along, so don't worry. And I kind of want to get some of the interest of the curls on each side, because one of these you can just see the strings, and this one I like seeing the interest. It actually makes you look further into the card, if you will. So it doesn't matter if the either end isn't stamped up or inked perfectly, because it's just background interest. So I hope you have enjoyed my previous card videos. So this is card number 3. So I hope you've enjoyed the other 2. And there will be one more video after this for you to enjoy. And then I would love you to share your projects inspired by this. Either tag me on Instagram or Facebook, or share it in my VIP group. I have the VIP group actually linked here in the comments of the video, so you can see this doesn't take long, and lots of people like to share what I have inspired them to make over there. So you've got curly cues in the middle. We will be covering those up, but now I've done that, I want to set this to the side, And I think I'm going to do my die cutting next. So I want to take, and of course I picked it up and I can't find it. I want to take my More Dazzle paper, and I've done something pretty fun, or pretty easy. I've made life easy for myself. I have taken our adhesive sheets. Now these are adhesive sheets with a backing on either side. So I have taken the backing off one side and stuck it to the back of the 6x6 More Dazzle paper. So then when I die cut this out, these strings are already adhesive. So I'm going to grab my mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine and cut it out with this, because I love myself this mini machine. It makes life so simple and easy. That looks pretty good to me, and of course it's going to move on me because this die has been used so much. If you saw, I just bent it back straight, so then when I pop this on, it won't move so much. But this is because, just take 5,000 on this. I am just going to pop this down straight, rather. Okay, I'm going to flip it around and just see if this end is the issue. That's okay. Just need to take a nice deep breath. No. I will take a deep breath myself here. Right. Now, I'm going to flip this plate. No, maybe not. The struggles of crafting, and I'm actually going to grab a piece of washi tape and washi tape this baby down. Then it's not moving at all. I don't often use washi tape when I am die cutting, but in this case it is absolutely needed, and sometimes I find washi tape can tear our paper when you pop it down, but because this is the More Dazzle paper, we won't have any issues because this is quite a strong paper in its own right, and I can use that washi tape next time. Sorry, I've got painter's tape falling from the sky. I just have stuff stuck to my cupboard above me. Okay, so I have my 2 strings there. I do have some scrap which will be used later, and I still have adhesive sheet written on it, so when I go to use it I know exactly what it is. Now next I am going to pop that die aside so I don't lose it. I'm going to cut out the happy birthday. Now I have been a bit crafty with this as well, because the happy birthday is actually dimensional. I have grabbed our foam adhesive sheets. Now these are exactly the same size as our dimensionals, but they are not cut, so we can make this any size we want. So I have coated or attached the adhesive sheet to Blueberry Bushel Blueberry Bushel cardstock, and I am going to die cut the happy birthday from this. So let's do that together. And I forgot to point out as well that with the polka dot designer series paper that I picked, you can get both a more feminine and a more masculine design from the paper, and it all depends on the way you cut it. So just grab that birthday die. And I also love the wanted to say dies because you get all these little bits and bobs that you can create: a flower, a present, you've got hearts and stars, a bow to go along with the words. So where did I put that piece? Just put that over here. So cardstock attached to our foam adhesive. Going to take the die. Now I can hear you saying, Ellen, that's really thick. Is that really going to go through the machine? Yes, it is. The die or the foam adhesive is actually going to compress, but the foam actually pops back up once it is all die cut. Okay. Let's get this going through. So it is maybe a titch harder to crank through, but I don't feel like I'm having to force it or anything like that, which is good. You don't want to be forcing your dies because that's how we break machines. So that came off perfectly. That is, I do believe it is fully cut through. Let me see. Yep, that is fully cut through. It just didn't necessarily cut all the backing off, but that's fine. That is all good. I'm just going to put this die aside here. Stop myself from poking myself. Close this up. So now I'm going to start assembling our vellum piece. Now this vellum piece is 9 by 9 centimeters, so it doesn't matter which way I do things here. So I am going to, let me grab my little rubbish bin here. I am going to take all these middle pieces out. Now, this is going to take some time, yes, but thoroughly worth it when we lift this up and out of. Now, the tiny little bits of the pea are the hardest, and this is why I love my take your pick tool with the crafter's pick, because I really am picking these pieces out. Now, because I pre-grabbed that Y, this piece is not particularly loving. I will come back to those more teeny tiny pea pieces. So, have you ever tried our foam adhesive sheets? They are so much fun. You can die cut any shape with them, which is great. And you can see now that it's already popped back up. It pops back up instantly. It doesn't stay compressed, despite the fact we have cut this through totally. Right, the A, the Y, and then we will go back to the piece. And then we just lift this out, and it does keep a lot of its structure because of the foam adhesive sheets. Now, I'm going to flip this one upside down because, that one came out better than the Y further up. Okay. So there's not much to grab here. That's kind of the problem. So very, very carefully, and yes, I am using my hands because I want to support each letter as I'm taking it out. And if I'm using a tool, I'm not really giving that support to the letter. So while we're here, this is if these little bits don't come out, I'm actually happy to leave them in, but I really would love to get them out. And I just don't have my silicone craft sheet close at hand at this very moment.
I'm sorry.
Thank you, Siri, but guess what? I just got that out. So a little bit of patience, and actually if it doesn't work from the front, definitely go from the back, which is what I have done here. Okay, that bit is coming. It's out. Awesome. So you can pop this wherever you would like. But what I do, I start from one side. That's not centered at all. So because I haven't really pressed this down, comes up really quite nicely. So approximately there, and I can just squeeze that back into place. So happy with that, and I can press it down with a large block if I wish. So let's just, this one, that eye is going to be our point that we really don't want to rip, and you can kind of go from the top and bend and do all the things to try and get these out. Finding going from the bottom a little bit easier. The happy was just lovely, but this birthday is just that bit longer, so what I can do here is just support those letters, and they don't want to do what I want, but we don't want to be ripping anything here. Okay, so I'm literally just prying these out very, very carefully, and yes, they are a little bit. Now that is stuck there, right, all stuck together, but that can now go to the side. So we can see that is a little bit askew, but as I pop it down, and I can use these as a bit of a guide, I can start manipulating this, especially that D, A and the Y, back into place. So I'm quite happy with that. It does not have to be perfect, but I'm going to take this big block, give it a big squeeze. That is not moving because I felt that foam compress. So next I'm going to take our strings. Now trust me when I say my strings are in here. And I'm just going to grab this piece of foam off and see if I cannot grab what I that's what I wanted to do. So I have removed some of this. Just going to see where the end was, so I can grab that off. Now this is the end without the curly Q, so I just want to place this end right there, just like that. Want to put on a bit of pressure and then take my curly Q end, and of course I will be trimming these edges off, and then the middle of this piece you can use for anything you want. It kind of lends itself to a bit of a seascape. Okay, so I was able to nab this with the backing intact. Now I do have a streamer center to remove here. Manipulate this the right way. Okay. Now, do I want it up? Do I want it down? I think for this one, this time, I may like it up because I have a feeling I have a little bit more room at the top than what I have on my other cards. So there we go. We now have our streamer top and bottom, and I'm just going to snip these off. Of course, they're going to go everywhere, but that's okay. That's what cleanup later's for. And oh, we have just moved a titch. Okay. Now I'm going to support this end so it doesn't move. Okay, that's those done. Great. So next I want to adhere it to my polka dot piece, and I can hear you all asking, Ellen, how are you going to do that? Have a couple of ways. We're actually going to embellish before we finish the card, and I'm going to use a combination of some very, very small dots of our multi-purpose glue and some glue dots. So that's why I'm using the gems to hide some of the glue, because on vellum our glue will always show through, unfortunately. So I'm just putting there and there, and then I will pop a couple up here as well. So I want one here or thereabouts, and then use one here, and then a tinsy one just up here. So fold, or not fold this over, turn this over and grab the glue dots. So I'm going to have two places either end. I can really only fit a scrunched up glue dot behind the larger gems. If you would like to put it under a smaller gem, go for it. I have never found that to particularly work for me. So that's a scrunched up one there. And it's not quite scrunched up yet. It will be in a second. And a scrunched up one there. Now, with my multi-purpose glue, just going to make sure that's going. I'm just going to pop a couple of really, really tiny dots just like that. So nothing too big, as tiny as you can make them. And we're going to attach this. And if you do have a little bit of glue coming through, so be it. It just sometimes is what it is. So just give these two gems a good squeeze down, just some reasonable pressure with my hand, and that is our card front done. So I am going to mat that card front onto some blueberry bushel paper or cardstock. I will get my words right sometime during my career as a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Okay, so I have chosen to use a very, very thin mat here. So it is not very big at all, but just enough to frame our piece. So, and of course, as I pick it up, I kick it to the side, but that's good. So find our card base and attach that, and that is our card done. So we have just chosen some bling elements to bring the birthday definitely into this card. I think I have a blockage in my glue. I'm going to have a big glue goober very soon. But let's pop this down, and you can see, we can see some of our curly bits adding interest to the top, bottom and sides. We have our bling ×2. We have our elevated sentiment from the Wanted to Say dies. So still do have some stamping, but just chose to go minimal for this card. So I have 3 birthday cards, ready to rock and roll, all with slightly different colorways. So this one I inverted to that one, and this one I cut completely differently, and I have the more masculine colors top and bottom with the yellow, pink and red in the middle. But I think I could give these to anyone and they would love them because they are just so fun. So thank you so much for joining me and supporting me with my classes. I do appreciate it. Don't forget, for measurements, I do have the document that has everything that I've used and where you can find them in the current catalogues, and I also have measurements. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask, and I look forward to seeing you in our 4th and final video. I will see you soon. Bye.